Hello, everyone. Um, I tried doing this because there is a problem with my internet connection from where I am. So I will be using this if there is a problem in tech. But just in case, I'm sure that we will have a productive time all together, and I really hope that you're ready for today's learning session. So our topic is on people empowerment. Supposedly it's a different concept or a different topic from peace and security. But we are trying to lump them together because that is our main purpose. That is our goal. Our end goal is to establish how the people empowerment and peace can also create security and among other things. So we will be looking at this point, and I hope that you keep an open mind with regards to the topics, items, discussions, theories, and concepts that we will be discussing. Feel free to send in your comments, remarks, or questions in the chat box that is just available on the side of the screen. You may also unmute your microphone if you want. Just call my attention. Okay? So we will start with this. First thing in our mind is the importance of people empowerment and peace in maintaining security. We can also go with the importance of people empowerment, the importance of peace and security altogether. So first is, of course, we wanted to prevent conflicts, prevention of conflicts. When people are empowered with knowledge, when they are empowered with skills, when they are empowered with resources, they can actively engage in resolving conflicts peacefully. Meaning, well, kasi empowered ka, kaya hindi ikaw mismo yung mabilis na uminit ang ulo, 'di ba? So, ibig bang sabihin kapag mainit ang ulo ng isang tao ay hindi siya feeling empowered? Sige, tingnan natin. Medyo mahaba-habang usapan yan. Empowered individuals are more likely to seek nonviolent means. O yan, diba? They are more likely to seek nonviolent means to address grievances and bridge divides, reducing the chances of violence or unrest. So that's one of the main importance of empowerment. Another is the concept of inclusive decision making. Empowerment ensures that all voices are heard and considered in the decision making processes. For example, when people have a say in shaping policies and the systems that affect them, they are more likely to support and abide by those decisions. Kasi kasali sila sa pagbuo ng mga pulisiya, 'di ba? At ang sistema na 'yan. So bakit kailangan bakit hindi mo susundin kasama ka sa gumawa niyan. So inclusive decision making fosters a sense of ownership, it reduces discontent, and it minimizes the potential for unrest or rebellion. So hindi lang natin to titingnan on the perspective of other people or other communities, ha, kahit sa ating mga opisina, kahit sa ating sarili, no, na ma-reflect natin or mapagmumuni-munihan ang konseptong ito. Next is the idea of social cohesion. Yung empowerment encourages social cohesion by promoting equality, justice, and respect for human rights. You know, when people feel empowered, when they feel included, they are more likely to work together. They are likely to work together harmoniously, fostering so strong social bonds, and they have this shared sense of security within their communities. Tama po ba? Okay, so don't hesitate to give your remarks or comments on our chat box or messaging portion of our screen. Now, another importance is economic stability. You know, there are six prerequisites to economic development. We have economic growth, economic stability, economic security, economic justice, economic freedom, and ecological balance. But stability is very important because it tells us of freedom from fluctuations. So sabi dito, empowerment encompasses access to education, to healthcare, and to economic opportunities. So when individuals have the means to improve their economic well-being, they are less susceptible to radicalization or engaging in illegal activities due to desperation. Pag empowered, diba? Ayan, ganito ang madalas na pwedeng mangyari. And kapag ganito sila, ganito ang mga tao, nagkakaroon tayo ng stability on the end, no? So, economic stability will contribute to the overall societal security. So, kung gano'n naman pala, paano yung tungkol sa peace? Eh di nga sabi ko kanina, magkadugtong yan. Our questions would range from how about peace? Why is it important? Or should we state the obvious? Kasi alam kong alam nyo na yan, inaral nyo na yan. Ang tawag nga sa inyo sa Biblia ay peacemakers, hindi ba? O peacekeepers. So do we really need to dig deeper? Okay, the obvious answer is yes. Yan, kailangan naman nating aralin din at balikan ang mga bagay-bagay na yan. But if you would allow me to share, sabi ko nga, one of my most favorite authors is Richard Bach, and pinakapaborito ko sa lahat ng libro na ginawa niya is yung Illusions, The Adventures of the Reluctant Messiah. Ang sabi niya doon, you teach best what you most need to learn. At isa pang sabi niya doon is, we are all teachers, learners, and doers. Lahat ng mga bagay daw na inaaral mo, like for example now, alam mo na yan. Ang ginagawa na lang ng teacher is pinapaalala sa'yo na alam mo yan. So I think we will go on that path. Now, let's see. When we talk about peace, we also talk about conflict prevention and resolution. Peaceful peaceful means of conflict resolution such as negotiation, mediation, and diplomacy can prevent conflicts from escalating into violence. So we try to promote a culture of peace and dialogue. It will reduce the likelihood of aggression, ensuring the safety and security of individuals and communities. When we talk of peace, we talk of stability and development. Because peace creates an environment conducive to that. When countries and regions are free from conflicts, resources can be channeled towards social welfare, education, healthcare, infrastructure, and economic growth. So yung stability na ito will lead to enhanced security by addressing the root causes of unrest such as the poverty, inequality, and marginalization. So, 'di ba? Bakit pa tayo mag-aaksaya ng panahon dito sa iisang bagay na ito na kung wala naman tong kaguluhang ito, sana nagagamit natin ang mga resources sa iba pang mga bagay, which is equally important too. Now, let's have human rights. When we talk of human rights protection, peace is closely tied to that. Kasi peace is closely tied to the protection of human rights. When peace prevails, individuals enjoy their rights and freedoms, such as the freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and freedom of expression. I know you know that, and I know that you support that, and sometimes you help, no, in keeping the peace whenever there are demonstrations, there are expressions, and other things. So deep inside, and because you have learned about it, you support these freedoms, and you know that peace is closely tied to that. Peace is closely tied to the protection of human rights. So when we uphold human rights, it does not only ensure security at the level of the individual, but it also fosters an environment of trust and cooperations among nations. So micro to macro. Now, this is the macro that I am telling you about, international security. Global peace is essential for international security. Yung cooperation natin among nations, respect for sovereignty, and adherence to international laws, parang may pinaparinggan tayo, no? And treaties, it will contribute to the stable international order. Addressing conflicts peacefully and promoting dialogue can prevent escalation of tensions and minimize the risk of war or terrorism. So, well, laging maayos na rota or maayos na pangarap, magandang pangarap ang kapayapaan. But we just have to remember that ang lahat ng bagay ay magkaugnay. Yan. So, therefore, let's just have a quick reminder to each other that empowering individuals and communities, on the one hand, will enable them to contribute positively to society. It prevents conflicts and somehow participate in the decision making process. So, together, they form the foundation for sustainable security at various levels, promoting a harmonious and secure world. Peace, on the other hand, establishes a stable and inclusive environment. It protects human rights and fosters cooperation among nations. Agree or disagree? Ayan. Pwede naman tayong mag-agree to disagree din. Okay. So, now these are the notable approaches and frameworks. Just trying to enumerate each one. We have the HRBA. We have the participatory approach. Let's see. I'm not sure. Yan. Capacity building, gender mainstreaming, asset-based community development, and empowerment evaluation. So when we talk about human rights-based approach, it emphasizes, well, let's check. Medyo naglalaro ang aking PowerPoint. Wait. Nagmamadali ata siya. Meron bang nagmamadali sa inyo? May nagmamagic-magic dito sa akin. Oo, baka mamaya inaano nyo na to minamagic nyo na ako para bilisan ko. Wag naman. Tingnan natin siya isa-isa. Now, so we will be looking at HRBA first. Let's see. Teka lang ha. Try natin ayusin para hindi siya tumakbo-takbo. Okay, so medyo na okay na yata. Let's have this notable approaches and frameworks. Hindi ko sinasabi na ito lang ha. Sa maraming approaches and maraming frameworks, these six are I think are the most important ones based on research. We have the HRBA, we have the participatory approaches, we have the capacity building, we have the gender mainstreaming, the ABCD, and the empowerment evaluation. Ano yung human rights based approach? So let's see. Okay, so yung human rights-based approach natin, it emphasizes the centrality of human rights. So, pabalik-balik na usapan to. Kasi nga, 'di ba, hindi mo nga maihiwalay ang peace sa usapang human rights. So, in empowering individuals and communities, central ang human rights sa usapang ito. It focuses on promoting and protecting human rights as the foundation of empowerment. This approach emphasizes principles such as participation, accountability, non-discrimination, and empowerment. It also seeks to address power imbalances and ensure that individuals have access to their rights and can participate in the decision-making processes. So that's HRBA for you. Okay. So participatory approaches na tayo. Yeah? Okay. It aims to involve individuals and communities in decision-making processes and development initiatives. These approaches recognize the knowledge, the expertise, and the experiences of the local people. So example will include participatory rural appraisal, participatory budgeting, and community-based organization. So by involving people in planning, implementation, and evaluation, these approaches empower them to shape their own development and address their needs. Okay? Now, we go with capacity building. Capacity building naman focuses on enhancing the knowledge, skills, and abilities of individuals and the community. It provides them with the necessary tools and resources to effectively participate in the decision making and take control of their own development. So when we talk about capacity building, I think you're familiar with it. We're looking at in training programs, workshops, mentoring, knowledge sharing activities, and by strengthening the capacity of individuals and communities, ayan, empowerment is fostered. Okay, so we go next. Um, Gender mainstreaming. Well, it's an approach that seeks to address gender inequalities and promote gender equality in all aspects of the society. It recognizes the importance of empowering women. Ang konti lang natin dito mga babae, ha? Pero kailangan empowered tayo. The importance of empowering women and girls and ensuring their equal participation and access to resources and opportunities. So, gender mainstreaming involves integrating a gender perspective into policies, programs, and projects to promote equitable outcomes and empower our marginalized gender. So, hindi lang siguro mga women ito at yung iba pang mga marginalized. So, we will also be looking at the LGBTQ++ communities as well. Okay, so let's see. ABCD, yan. Asset-based community development. It focuses on identifying and mobilizing the existing strengths and assets within communities. It recognizes that communities possess valuable resources, skills, and capacities which can be harnessed to drive their own development. Kanilang komunidad, kanilang skills, kanilang pag-ayos at ng kanilang pagkaganap at kaganapan. No? So this approach empowers individuals by valuing their contributions and encouraging self-reliance and community-led initiatives. Yan ang ABCD for you. Yan. Next, empowerment evaluation. Dito, kailangan i-emphasize natin ang halaga ng evaluation, di ba? And monitoring. So, when we talk of empowerment evaluation, this approach aims to empower individuals and communities through evaluation processes. Kasali dito ang mga collaboration between evaluators and stakeholders to assess yung mga programs at mga initiatives. So, yung empowerment evaluation emphasize excuse me, yung participation ng ating stakeholders, yung pag-build ng kanilang capacity and using evaluation findings for empowerment and social change. Talagang mahalagang ma-evaluate bago gumawa or bago baguhin ang mga bagay-bagay. Ipapagpatuloy pa ba o ihihinto, gagawa ba ng bago at iba pa. Now, if you have comments, just put them in the chat box or in our messaging section of our screen. Okay, so we proceed. Paalala, caveat, these approaches and frameworks are not mutually exclusive. You can combine them. You can adapt them based on your specific context and needs. Ang mahalaga lang dito is you ensure that the individuals and communities are actively engaged. Kasi pag hindi sila at wala sila, wala rin. You have to make sure that they have access to resources, they have access to opportunities, and they are supported in their efforts to make informed decisions and so that they can shape their own destinies. Ayan. Okay? So, punta tayo doon sa ideas. I know you know this already. Inaral nyo na to ng ilang beses. Baka mamaya buryong na kayo or sobrang sawang-sawa na kayo sa topic na ito. Pero sige lang. Just let me just give you some few briefers about these things. And so that we will have a common idea or common concept, no, of the root causes of insecurity and crime. I know you know this already, but sige, let's look at them in one by one. Let's proceed to thinking or stating or reminding ourselves that insecurity and crime are complex issues. They are influenced by various factors. So, yung root causes na ipapakita ko sa inyo, it can vary across different contexts. But there are common underlying factors that will contribute to it. So, tingnan natin itong mga common na ito. Let's see. As you can see, we're using the fishbone diagram because we are trying to identify the root cause analysis, or we're trying to analyze root causes. So, dun sa pito, tignan nyo, yan yung mga bagay na yan. You may agree or not agree, but we can, sabi ko nga, we can always agree to disagree naman. So we have the socio-economic factors, social exclusion and marginalization, weak governance and corruption, drug abuse and organized crime, related, social and family disintegration, political instability and conflict, ayan, isa pa yan, and then lack of education and skills. So, tingnan lang natin yan isa-isa. We can start with socioeconomic factors. Tingnan mo, poverty, unemployment, income inequality, lahat yan. It will contribute to insecurity and crime. O hindi naman automatic na porque mahirap, kriminal na, no? Hindi naman automatic na walang trabaho, kriminal. Pero ito yung mga factors na pwedeng mag-lead to that. Lack of economic opportunities and resources can drive individuals towards illegal activities as a means for survival. Alam natin yan sa mga major cities, mga urban areas. Sa rural nga, meron, sa urban pa kaya. So, economic disparities and limited access to basic necessities can create social unrest and frustration, leading to criminal behavior. Okay, then let's have social exclusion and marginalization. I think you already have an idea what this is. Diba? When certain groups such as ethnic or religious minorities are systematically excluded or marginalized from social, economic, political spheres, it can create a sense of injustice and alienation. Ayaw natin yon. Social exclusion can foster feelings of resentment, and it can fuel criminal behavior as individuals may resort to illegal activities to gain power, resources, and revenge. Kailangan pa bang pag-usapan ito? I think alam na natin ito lahat. Weak governance, characterized by ineffective institutions, corruption, and lack of rule of law undermine security. When people lose trust in the state's ability to provide security and justice, they may resort to vigilantism or join criminal networks. Corruption within law enforcement agencies can lead to impunity. It erodes public trust and exacerbate criminal activities. Alam na natin yan at minsan medyo mahirap lang aralin. Yes, drug abuse and organized crime. Medyo familiar tayo rito in the last few years. Illicit drug trade and substance abuse contribute significantly to crime rates. Drug addiction fuels the demand for drugs, of course, leading to associated crimes such as drug trafficking, theft, violence, at iba pa. Organized crime groups often thrive in environments when there is a lack of law enforcement capacity, corruption, or weak border control, kung may border tayo dyan. Okay, what about social and family disintegration? Alam nyo na, medyo problematic. Ilan ba sa atin dito ang talagang intact at buong buo pa ang pamilya? O karamihan ba or disintegrated na ba talaga? Breakdowns in social structures. Alam natin na ang family is the basic unit of the society. Breakdowns in social structures and dysfunctional family environments can contribute to insecurity and crime. Hindi nga automatic, pero nga sa mga inaaral ng iba, yan ang lumalabas. Lack of parental guidance, neglect, no domestic violence, and exposure to criminal behavior within the family can lead to intergenerational transmission of crime. Social disintegration, including high rates of divorce, migration, urbanization, it can weaken community bonds and increase vulnerability to criminal activities. Ayan. So, parang mag-MMK ka na lang noon at ngayon. Okay. Political instability and conflict. Karamihan naman, naririnig natin, nababasa natin, nakikita sa mga balibalita. Political instability, armed conflict, and civil unrest create conditions conducive to insecurity and crime. Disrupted governance and breakdown of law and order and the proliferation of weapons contribute to increased violence and criminal activities. Displaced populations and refugee flows can also strain resources, increase competition, and escalate tension. So, there is a possibility that this may lead to criminal behavior. And ayan, lack of education and lack of skills. So yung limited access natin to quality education and skills development, it can hinder individual opportunities for employment and upward mobility. Yung mga uneducated or underskilled individuals may face difficulty in finding legal employment. So, this makes them more susceptible to engaging in criminal activities. Again, this is assuming all other factors have remained constant, hindi automatic, pero this happens based on research. Breathe. Okay, kamusta po? Marami-rami na ba tayong na nakapadagdag ng gulo sa ating mga isipan? Huminga, mag-stretch, uminom ng tubig dyan, tumingin-tingin sa mga greens at iba pa, at pag-isip-isipan natin ang mga na-discuss natin kanina. Okay? Sige, at pag tayo'y nagpatuloy, maya-maya ng konti, napakaraming tanong ang darating.